Now we're going to define our template. The interface will be very simple and we'll use the Foundation Front-End Framework's FlexGrid to provide us with some predefined classes for structuring the layout. Initially, we're going to hardcode some chat messages into this template as it will help us create some quick CSS rule sets to style the layout in the video preceding this. After that point, we will adjust the template to work in conjunction with the Firebase API. Open up your browser and navigate to this address right here, cdnjs.com/libraries/foundation/6.3.0. So we're going to copy this top line right here, and then we'll go to our code editor and source index.html and just paste it right between the head tags. Then just before it, we'll type in link, media equals all. Type, of course, is text CSS, rel equals style sheet, and href equals the URL that we pasted. We'll come to the very end, and the quotes, just like that. We're also going to use the Railway font, so let's include that as well. I'm going to type in link, href equals, and I'm going to paste in this part right here. Next, we'll go ahead and put in rel equals style sheet. Great, you can go ahead and save this. And now let's head over to our app component HTML inside of the app folder. Let's select everything here, Control A and delete. Let's also give ourselves some more room by hitting Control B if you're working within Visual Studio Code to get rid of the sidebar. Okay, so let's go ahead and start off with a div class of container. And this is a class that is specific to Foundation that we included. And then also div class of row columns. And inside of here, we're going to have a custom ID that we create called iFace. We'll reference this shortly in CSS. And the very first element is going to be a text field. So input, type is text, ID is going to be message. We'll put a placeholder value of your chat message here. And then we're going to use two-way data binding to control this text field's value. So this will be ng model, and we'll bind it to a property that we create in the component class a little bit later on called message. And we will also create a local template variable that gives us access to this input's value, which will be used on the submit button just after this. We'll name this message. Okay. Next, we're going to put in an input type of submit and a class of submit and a value of send now. And we're also going to add a click event binding. And it's going to be bound to a method that we'll create a little bit later on called send. And we'll send in the message value. All right, great. So next, let's put in a div class of details container. This is where we're going to add an ng4 directive a little bit later on. This is what's going to house each individual chat message. Div class of row. Again, this is specific to Foundation. And a div class of medium 9. And this is columns. So this is where the chat message itself will be stored. And then after that, we'll have a div class of medium 3 because it's based on 12 columns. And this is where our delete and edit button will reside. So inside of here, we're simply going to hard code just for now a chat message. You can put whatever you want in there. After that, we'll put in 2 buttons. In a little bit, they will have click events, but we'll omit that for now. Now from lines 9 all the way to 19, we can copy it and then paste. And this time we're going to change this paragraph to an input text field. And the reason we're doing this is simply so that we can see what a details container row looks like when an individual presses the edit button, which will replace this paragraph with this input text area so that they can edit their message. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and save. Now, before we can view this in the browser, we first have to import the forms module for our two-way data binding right here to work. So let's hit Control B. I'm going to go ahead to our app module, and inside of here, we're simply going to import our forms module from the Angular Forms library. Now, while we're in here, we also need to import one more module, which is the HTTP module, which we will use later on. Next, we'll take our forms module, we'll add it as an import, and also the HTTP module. Okay, go ahead and save. And then we'll go back to our console and run ngserve. And then in our browser, this is what our really ugly layout looks like at this point. So therefore, in the next video, we're going to focus on writing just a little bit of CSS to make this layout look a whole lot better.